all, yes. These unauthorized and clandestine duties where you're just going to cover up your greening, yeah. Because you're going to be so cunning, isn't that right? Stealth and without legitimate authority, yep. And you gave custody, you made me surrender, right? You seized my sons without any due process of law. I tell you that it's against the law to do this, and I'm sitting here because you refuse to enforce the law. Now, this idea of embracing my sons, yeah, this is something that's very important to me because I have a lot of love to give them. See, when I start loving my neighbor as myself, I start thinking of other people as myself. I'm somewhat empathetic to their individual problems. Now, empathy is something you don't relate to. Yes. It's the idea that you can go to prison for what you're doing and I can sue you for that. Now, if you were in my shoes, yes, just think like I think for just a second. And you know that you used forgery, yes, to issue a protection order, yes. You know that these five minors named are in the wrong grades, right, and quite possibly been in the wrong grades for 7 years and 8 months. And then there's this whole idea of putting them in publication, yes, so as to exploit them and enrich yourself because of having a winning football team. Boo! Now, Zach is a sophomore, but will be a third year starter on our line and will play nose guard defensively. Yes. Bittard said he works harder in the weight room than any kid I've seen. Yes. Now this is really good, all right? He's working out. Oh, the problem is that you have no actual right to have custody of them. My wife abducted them. You issued a protection order. You issued a dissolution of marriage without any of the requirements of the law. There's one thing to seize, and that's an abduction, yes. Another thing is to surrender, as in I'm going to, on my own, within my own will, yes, I'm going to give them, I'm going to surrender them to you. If you didn't realize it yet, I am not surrendering my sons. I want custody of them. I will not surrender them to this state, to the United States, or to any other adult employee of any government of the United States. Now, I included the rights of child victims and witnesses. Did you read your own laws? My sons have certain rights. When you issued the protection order in 2011, yes, I wasn't here. Pope. Heidi wasn't an actual resident of the state of Washington because of the birth of Benjamin. Yes. You issued this, Judge Ken Williams, for 1 year. Right. But there was no actual notice or opportunity for me to be heard. There was no temporary protection order needed because I was arrested on Guam, and there was no way you had any legal right to issue the temporary protection order. Because of the arrest on Guam, the jurisdiction was Guam, and the only persons that could issue a temporary protection order were the police that arrested me at that time. You had no jurisdiction to issue the temporary protection order because I was not a resident of the state of Washington. I was not arrested in the state of Washington. And as we've learned, law enforcement can only motion the court for a temporary protection order because of an actual arrest that they themselves arrest and take into custody of the individual. Yes, or having some actual knowledge that the person is going to commit some sort of crime. Yes, that's right. Now, there's no possible way you could have gotten a report of me committing a crime of domestic violence and child abuse when I was on Guam. Poop. Now, there's no way that you could have legally issued this protection order in 2011. That's what it says. Ouch. The law enforcement cannot motion a court for temporary protection order or weapon surrender order, yes, without an actual arrest, or actual credible threat. Now, I can't be a threat to my wife and kids when I'm 13,000.